everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be on Chickamauga, and it's going to be a little bit different from our other tournament videos because it's going to cover two different tournaments that we were involved in. The first one is our normal TNKATT series, which is what we're competing for Angler of the Year on, we're members of. But the second tournament we entered was the Native Watercraft Big Bass Power Hour, which is very different from the ones we usually fish. As you know, our TNKATT tournaments are 3 fish, 12-inch minimum limit. And the Native Big Bass Power Hour, it's a national competition which usually has well over 100 anglers. And they have a no-limit tournament, which means you can catch as many fish as you want, MLF style, and they have a 14-inch minimum. What sets this apart, though, is every hour, the biggest bass gets $1,000 if they breached 100 anglers, which they did this time. They had 133 anglers on Chickamauga. We figured we know the lake decently enough, so why not try it? It was a risk, but we figured we'd enter both tournaments since they're going in conjunction with one another. Now, we didn't have the smoothest of starts. First off, the Thursday before, which was February 29th, that was my brother's wedding. And obviously that is far more important than going and fishing a tournament. So we did not get a chance to pre-fish before the tournament, at least before Thursday, because we were getting prepped, doing bachelor parties, getting everything ready for my brother's wedding. And it was fantastic. Very good wedding. But the Friday after, we were going to do pre-fishing since my brother was married and off on his honeymoon, and we didn't have anything else to do. So we just had to drop our tuxes off at the rental place on our way down to Chickamauga. But we ran into some issues, and we'll talk about that from the water.
All right, folks. We're finally getting launched. This has been quite the adventure. We had no opportunity to come practice yesterday. We started out, and the van we normally drive to haul our trailer and all our gear started spewing oil from around the oil filter housing, which is not something you generally want to see in most cases. And so once we determined that we were not going to get that satisfactorily resolved to be able to drive it, we had to transfer all of our gear over to my wife's Equinox. She was thrilled about. And we got down here right at nightfall. So we didn't even really have an opportunity to come look around. We had a couple of places picked out, but since we didn't get a chance to pre-fish, we decided to go with a place we're kind of familiar with here. We fished here before. So we originally came down to launch there at that ramp, and we got stuck because it's so shallow you can't even get a kayak out of it. The water's down so far. So we had to load everything back up and drive around to this ramp on the other side. So we got extremely low water depth. We got water temperature that's lower than we anticipated. We were hoping it would be closer to 50 degrees, but it looks like Clyde has already been out for long enough. He said it's about 48. We were hoping it'd be 50, 51, but wishful thinking. We were also hopeful that the stump beds would still be far enough into the water to be able to fish them, but it just, well, there were two other fellows launching here who pre-fished here, and they said that they didn't even catch a keeper-sized fish yesterday. But our other choices were a half hour away. We'd already lost an hour and a half of fishing time. And so we're going to take a gamble, and we're going to try fishing this and see what happens. So anyway, we're going to get started now. We've lost an hour and a half, so we're already behind everybody else, but hopefully this is done.
As you can see, things did not go as we planned. We wanted to go out Friday, do some pre-fishing, but our van started hemorrhaging oil, and after taking care of that, we just didn't get a chance to. We got down there after the cutoff for pre-fishing, and even now we still haven't gotten the van back. It has been a little over a week, about a week and a half since we discovered that oil leak, and we've taken it in to be fixed because we discovered it was a cracked filter housing, which isn't hard to get to, and it wasn't even a hard repair. It's going to be pretty cheap. But the dealership that our mechanic buys their parts from, the Kia dealership, has sent us the wrong part twice now. We were supposed to get the van back today. This is Wednesday the 13th that I'm recording this. But they've sent us the wrong part again. And we're supposed to start pre-fishing for Cherokee tomorrow. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But yeah, van problems, bad launch, and it just wasn't looking good for us to start with. The water temperatures weren't cooperating. They were well under 50 degrees. We thought it would be in the 50s. But even with those issues, we ended up catching a few up through Sales Creek.
So anyway, I'm going to start off with some red cranks. I've also got a red chatterbait tied on. I'm going to be tossing around up in here. Yeah, we had heavy rain yesterday and last night. And unfortunately, it was also a cold rain. So who knows what that has done for the fishing. Well, he might be a keeper. All right, got him on the board. He was just barely a keeper for the TNKATT tournament. Does not qualify for the Big Bass Power Hour tournament. He was 12 inches, which is the minimum for TNKATT. Power Hour tournament requires 14. That's a better fish. All right, I'll let you go, buddy. He won't close his mouth. Dadgone it.
Well, it's a bass. I don't know if he's a keeper. Nope, 10.5 inches, but at least it's a fish. Little old largemouth. Back he goes. That is a yellow perch. That just might be trophy size.
I think it's like a giant.
Yellow perch. I know, but I would be breaking my streak if I didn't catch a trophy fish that wasn't a bass. No, not any muskie today.
But that thing's over 12 inches, ain't it?
Looks like it. I wonder if I should submit him to the tournament.
What the trophy, 11 inches, I think?
It's either 11 or 10. So I'm going to measure him right quick. Oh, he's 11. So, there's a tarp certificate at least. Well, guys, it's not the trophy I'm looking for. But that's a beautiful little fish right there. Little old yellow perch. Caught him on the Ned rig. That's a beautiful little fish. I've only ever caught these things on Chickamauga. We're gonna let him go. And I've got a tarp certificate to fill out now, so at least salvages the day a little bit. Though I'd be lying if I said I weren't a little frustrated. But hopefully I can at least catch a limit for TNKATT. That'll make life a little bit better for me.
Ain't been a lot to film so far, so
I've caught 3.
yeah, I've caught 3. Not big ones, but
No. And we entered that big bass power hour thing.
yeah, me too. I'm regretting that.
Yeah. I've got one of my 3 was big enough to qualify so far. I don't want to drive 2 hours and blow an engine, so. But anyway, man, good luck to you.
Yeah, hopefully. Is there a bunch of people down the other way? Have you seen people? Or
We didn't go down that way yet. Clyde said that the guy that just motored up through here
yeah,
said the closer you get to the channel, the more crowded it gets.
I don't know where else to go. I may end up just moving just for like the last couple hours or something if I can't get
Yeah.
fish. They're in here, but they're not. I mean, I don't know if there's any big ones in here, but there's a lot of little ones in here because I caught them Wednesday. I probably caught 15 bass Wednesday. None of them over 13 inches, I don't think, but
Oh.
but they've just really. I guess that rain and cold weather just. It was really warm Wednesday.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping we'd get down here and it'd be a little closer to 50 as far as the water temp went. 47.
Okay.
I was hoping it would be like right at 50.
It probably just dropped a couple degrees. I was seeing there was a lot of activity just a few days ago, and today I went all the same places, and it's just like I see 1 or 2, but they're not coming out like they were. They were all over the place.
Well,
All right, well, go get one of those $1,000 big bass.
yeah,
Where they got those at.
somebody's catching them.
Going back into the cove further up Sales Creek proved to catch some fish, but unfortunately there wasn't much size. I didn't catch any keepers, although I did catch a trophy-sized yellow perch, which I'm glad of that, because otherwise I'd be breaking my streak. This is now 3 tournaments where I've caught trophy fish in the tournament, but they were not bass. It was channel cat on Watts Bar a little over 4 months ago. Then on Watts Bar again, actually this past month in February, it was muskie. I didn't catch one, but my dad did. I caught a muskie, but it wasn't trophy size. My dad caught 2 trophy muskie. Didn't catch any real good sized bass except for 1. And now on Chickamauga, didn't catch any trophy sized largemouth, but a trophy sized yellow perch. But as we went further back into the cove, the water temperature started to drop. It had been hanging between 45 and even hit 50 to 52 on some of the shallower areas, but we were seeing it drop down well below 45, and we decided it was time to change things up because what we were doing just was not working. 11 inches is tarp, so. Yeah, doesn't help me much in the standings, but the water temperature is getting much colder. The water temperature is starting to drop back this way, so I just don't know what else to do. I'm going out towards the main channel. I fished all those bluffs. There's a certain point I want to hit. I'm just going to troll my way down. Well, if we're going to move, we need to do it now. We've got less than 4 hours.
That's true.
I'm going to go out towards that big flat. There's a point right at the creek mouth I want to fish. Once we got past the Sales Creek area and started heading towards the main channel, my dad started to catch several fish. It was definitely better as we went out because the water temperature started to increase. I went down the opposite side of the flat on Sales Creek, and unfortunately the only thing that I managed to do was get jump scared by a beaver 3 times.
Yes. Finally. Don't think he'll score though. Nope. Yes. Finally. That's a better fish.
Big old beaver. That's the second time that beaver's done that to me.
Dude, it did it to me last week, and I thought so.
Good grief, they're that.
Scares me every time.
I know, they're so daggone loud.
What's the kayak?
Let's try to figure out who was throwing boulders at us.
What the heck was that?
Beaver.
Seriously?
Yeah, it won't go away.
It's been following you?
Basically.
Huh?
Yeah. That's the third time he's done that.
How long has he been following?
2.5 hours.
No way.
He's been with me since the other side of this flat. Oh, finally. That's a keeper. Oh. Thank you, Lord. I think that's a spot. Let's see what we got going here. Is he big enough for both? Nope, he is 13.5. So that's gonna get us one in the TNKATT tourney. So doesn't count for the native one, but 13.5 inch little spotted bass. We'll let him go, get him submitted. Hopefully there's some more hanging out around here with him. We got out of Sales Creek and into the main channel area, and the fishing was definitely better there. But unfortunately, by the time we got to this point, it was way too late in the day to really have a chance to do anything for the native one. But hopefully we could do something to get higher placement in TNKATT to help our Angler of the Year chances. That's fish. He might be 12. 11 and a half, daggone it. 11 and a half inches, too small for out of the tournament. We'll let him go see if there's any more of his buddies down in here. There's another one. That's a better one, maybe. Or it might be the same one. He might be 12. We do, we have exactly 12. All right. 12-inch second keeper. I'm hoping there's a school of them here. I'm gonna just keep on fishing.
Well, that's what I'm gonna finish my day out with. Pretty little perch. It just peed all over me. That was nice. Thank you, buddy. Got me all excited. Thought I had another bass right here at the buzzer. So there he is. Away he goes. So that wraps up the tournament for the day. Definitely not the best tournament that we've had. It was really rough, especially since we didn't get to practice and we had a lot of stuff going on. It was honestly just, we didn't get time to prep and we made a few bad calls. We should have been out on the main channel because it was warmer out there. And honestly, we probably had a chance to go somewhere else closer to the main channel. We would have had to trailer and drive out somewhere, but in the end, we decided just to stick it out at Sales Creek because we knew the area pretty well. I ended up finishing 29th in the TNKATT tournament out of a total of 47 anglers. There were a lot of people that enter the TNKATT tournament that were not TNKATT members, since Native, TNKATT, Tennessee Bass Nation, and a couple of more local tournament trails were all doing this in conjunction with one another. There are several people that entered 4 to 5 tournaments on this, and we all had the same identifier to make it easier for people to do that. So I'm not sure how this is going to affect Angler of the Year standings, because there was a lot of people that entered the TNKATT tournament that did not qualify for AOY because they weren't members. They honestly had never fished a TNKATT tournament. But I finished in 29th out of 47. My dad finished in 18th out of 47. He did manage to catch a limit, as you saw. So that wasn't bad. When it came to the Native Big Bass Power Hour, that one we didn't place nearly as high. My dad finished in 48th, and I tied for 81st because I didn't catch any keepers that were big enough. Had to be a 14-inch fish to qualify. But that was out of 133 anglers. But we're getting into spring fishing. We're going to have some more consistent content coming out. We've got our next tournament on March 30th. That's going to be on Cherokee. That's going to be another busy weekend because I'm the worship pastor at that church in Johnson City. And we have our Easter program on Good Friday, which is the 29th of March this year. We have our tournament on Cherokee on the 30th. So driving up to Johnson City, it's about 2 hours. And then doing the Easter program, I think it's at 7. So we'll have to get back here and then get some rest, have everything prepped so that we can get up to Cherokee the next day. Lines in is really early, I think 7 or 7:30. I'll have to look again. And then we'll be back up in Johnson City on Sunday for regular church. So that's going to be a busy weekend, but we're going to have more opportunities to pre-fish for Cherokee.
It's a lot closer than Chickamauga is. It's only maybe a 45-minute drive for most of the places we'll go. But we've got several spots we want to try. We've been doing a lot of research figuring out how best to fish for big fish this time of year. We don't know if it's going to be more of a pre-spawn thing or if they're going to be more in a winter pattern because the weather's been very inconsistent. It's not stabilized. We've had several days where it's been up in the upper 70s for a high. In fact, tomorrow, Thursday, it's supposed to be a high of 79 and a low of only like 56. But come past the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the weather's going to drop back down into the 40s for a high and then as low as the mid 20s for a low. And when you've got that constant up and down, the water temperature isn't stabilizing and it makes it very hit or miss as to how the fish are going to be reacting. So we'll know closer to time if the weather stabilizes. If the week leading up to the tournament it's really warm and sunny, then that could bode well for shallow fishing, but we're also going to be prepped for some deeper fishing, throwing, Ned rig, hopefully a lot of jigs and deeper diving cranks for some bigger smallmouth primarily. Although we've got a few places on Cherokee we want to try out for largemouth. But we'll see what happens when we get closer to time. I want to thank you all for sticking to the end and listening to my rambling here at the end. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you in the next one.